warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, today our group will present about math symbol. My friend Setiawan as the first speaker to explain about ordinal and cardinal numbers. Beside me is Abu, who is going to present about how to read 100, 1000 and decimal numbers. Next is Tegas, who is going to explain about symbols in math. And the last one is me, who's going to explain about that in American and British. Enjoy the video!
See.
Okay, just go straight to the topic of discussion. The first is cardinal. Cardinal numbers that tell how many of something there are. Cardinal numbers are usually used to describe the number or quantity of an object. How to read cardinal numbers are read according to their value. For example, 1 is read as 1, 2 is read as 2, 3 is read as 3, 10 is read as 10, and 100 is read as 100. Okay, example 1, there are 3 apples on the table. Example 2, I have 2 pens. Example 3, C books, 10 books, and others. Let's move on to the second topic, which is ordinals. Ordinal numbers are numbers that indicate to position of something in a list. Ordinal numbers are also usually used to explain a sequence or stage. How to read English? Ordinal numbers often have specific suffix st, nd, rd, and added to the base number. In other language, the structure might differ. Here are the readings in English. 1 st is read first, 2 nd is read as second, third, 10, 100. Example, he finished it first in the race. And example 2, her office is on the second floor. And example 3, I sit in the third row from the front.
Next, we will learn about how to read numbers. There are some important points you should know when you learn how to read numbers. Point number 1, comma is used to indicate thousands or millions. For example, 1,300,500. Point number 2, point is used to indicate decimals. Number after decimal must be read separately. Example, 3.548. Point number 3, in Indonesia we use comma when reading or writing hundred and millions, but in English we use point when reading or writing hundred and millions. Point number 4, we use and between hundred and tens. For example, 125. Point number 5, in fractions we use over to express complex fraction, and we use th to express simple fraction. Example, this, it will be read 2 over 30, and this, it will be read 1/6. Point number 6, there's a special term for fractions whose denominator consists of the number 2 or 4. There is 3 special terms for fractions. Term number 1, 3/4, we can replace it with 3/4. Now, term number 2, 1/2, we can replace it with a half. Term number 3, 1/4, we can replace it with a quarter.
Okay, so I will explain about symbol in mathematics. The first one is equals. Equals is used to show equality or the result of calculation. For example, x equals 6. Then there is plus. Plus is used when you want to addition when calculating. For example, 8 plus 2 equals 10. Next is minus. Minus used in subtraction or negative number. For example, 8 minus 1 is 7. Next, multiplication. Multiplication is used for repeated calculation and can be read multiplied by or times. For example, 2 times 2 is 4. Division. The way to read it when you calculating is divide by. For example, 20 divided 2 is 10. Next is fraction. Fraction has same function with division and can be read divide by or over. For example, is 9 over 3. And there's another mention, if the number is half and the denominator is 4, is called a half or a quarter. And the next symbol is called parenthesis. is commonly used for multiplication or priority in calculating. For example, is 2 plus 1 in brackets multiplied by 7. And next, there are inequality and strict inequality. And the symbols can be read less than and less than or equal. For example, is 1 less than 2, and for example in inequality, q less than or equal to p. And the symbols in equality and inequality strict can be read and bigger than or equal. For example, is 5 bigger than 4, and another example is p bigger or equals t. And the next symbol is called a square root. The way to write it is a square root, a root, and square root of. For example, is square root of 9 or the root of 9. And next, the last one is power. If it is power of 2, can be read squared, and the power of 3 can be read cubed. For example, 2 cubed equals 8.
Okay, for next we have writing dates in English. Writing dates in English can be done with a variety of ways. Here are some common ways to write dates in British and American English. In British English, which is the type of English mainly used in Australia, the day is followed by the month, which is then followed by the year. For the example, the second day of the month September in the year 2019, or the day comes first, then the month, and then the year. When you prefer to write the dates in American English, usually the month comes before the day, then followed by the year. If we use the same example as before, the second day of the month September in the year 2019, then the date in American English should be written as September 2, 2019, or the month comes first, then the day, and then the year.